Recording in progress.
This is the battery. I'm not standing at the right place. Uh-huh. We are looking at the legal environment of business. And what do we say? Legal environment of business refers to the legal framework within which companies operate. All of us here, the last time when I was teaching the distance education students, I told them that we are either employees, we are unemployed. At least one of us belongs to this three categories. We are either employers, that means we are creating businesses. We belong to one of these three categories. If we are employers, then we are entrepreneurs who are building our own businesses and we are employing others into our fold. If we are employees, it means we are either working in the private sector or the public sector. Then unemployed, that will refer largely to our brothers and sisters who just completed their education and yet to have some level of employment. But funny enough, some of them are in this category, even though they are just completing their education, but they already have some businesses they are running. Now, it could be a sole proprietor business that they are running, or a family business which is registered as a company limited by liability, or a company limited by guarantee, or partnership. So all these companies that we mentioned that any of us here would belong or we belong to, there are laws that govern those companies. So the legal environment is taking us to the areas of our day-to-day activity with respect to the law. Okay, if you are working in the private sector, the company works with their legal regulations around that company. How do they look at their employees? Labor law, contract law, and all those aspects is what we'll be looking at today. That within company operate, and it encompasses various law, regulations, and rules that impact multiple aspects of business activity. And understanding them is very good for all of us, whether private or public sector. Business formation and structures, as I said, we have sole proprietorship, which is the one-man business that we all have, or most of us had or have now. Or some of us had any collapse. So we can put ourselves in the past tense. But those of you who are currently having one or two at home, and you have employed some SS leaver and other things, there are laws that govern it. We need to know whether you have even registered that sole proprietor business. There are people who have beautiful names in their pocket. That when I want to do business, this is the name I want to use. But the issue is, have you registered it? If you have not registered, it's not yet a business. It's just an idea which is still in your mind. Until you go to Registrar General and register that idea for it to become a company, then you can call yourself a business owner. Partnership. Partnership mostly, or in Ghana now, the aspect that is helping partnership to move is the professionals, accountants, lawyers, those who are into consultancy business. But generally, those who are into trading, construction, to some extent, it's difficult for you to see partnership business that into trading or construction. Maybe because over here we don't trust ourselves. That's what I always say. But we don't trust ourselves. So it's difficult to have partnership business where we are basically doing buying and selling. And where we have an active partner, somebody who is in charge of the day-to-day running of the business, and then there's an active partner who is just somewhere doing his own business, but what he has joined you to form, he's not in charge of the day-to-day activity or the day-to-day running of that business. The fear always is that the one who is running the business day in, day out is cheating you. That is always a fear. Okay, he or she wakes up in the morning, goes to the business premise. It's a partnership business, but he or she must take his salary. He must take the other perks that comes with what? Working on the business, because you are paying yourself salary. Now, the other partner have to wait till you make profit, then you can share it based on the proportion of your investment. Okay. And when you don't have the two partners running the business, there's always this mentality of I'm being cheated. Because one, if partner A is on the business every day and need to be paid salary, other remuneration, I hope I'm spelling it right. Remuneration. And other perks, allowances and other things. Then at the end of the day, the company declare profit of just 20,000. And if you are 50-50 partners, you are supposed to share this. And when the other partner who is passive takes the financial report and realize that at the end of the year, partner A, who is always on the business, we have spent over 200,000 on him alone. And he's coming to share 20,000 again with me. And he's going home with 10,000. So this business that I've also formed, and I'm a partner to, at the end of the year, it's only 10,000 I will get. You see, whilst the other guy, at the end of the year, aside the 10,000, he's been paid salary, which give a total of over 200,000. When you see that and you are not content with the business environment, or you are not the type who understand how business is run, there are people who have money, they only invest in companies, but how the business run, they don't have the idea. And they don't even have the appetite, the risk appetite to go into running their own business. But fortunately for them, money has come from somewhere and they have it. So, you are a young man, you have idea. We will invest in you. So at the end of the period, we share profit. And if they sit behind and they see how much you enjoy in terms of salary, you enjoy in terms of allowances, then only for you to come and declare a very small profit for them, which you will also share again with them. Mostly it's very difficult. So that is one of the things that is affecting Ghanaian or African mind partnership type of business. People will prefer that, let me have my own sole proprietorship business. Let me run it alone. Let me run it alone. If I make profit, I make profit for myself. If losses, it's for myself. Then the other one, which is very common, is the company limited by liability. This one, we see more of it. My brother in the bank will attest to it. Most of the people who come to open company account, it's either they are opening sole proprietor or company. My 13 years in the bank, I have never opened account for even a partnership in the Northern region before. Not even one. So as I speak to you now, I only know about partnership in the books, but I have not experienced partnership business registered at registered general. Because in the North here, nobody is engaged in that. Most of the auditing firms we have in Tamale were registered in Accra, and Tamale is only having a branch. They are into partnership because they are professionals. The law asks or the law mandates you to partner with another professional so that you can do the work. But most of the businesses we see in the northern region or most part of Ghana is either sole proprietor or company limited. The other one that you see is the NGOs, which is registered under company limited by guarantee. This is the other one, but they come once a while. So business formation is something that we should know about. If in your second trimester we do what you call company law, then we'll go into this one, business formation one by one, where you understand the formation process, how to raise capital, how to even appoint an auditor, how to appoint a lawyer, and even if you are having financial challenges, how you can go into what liquidation, compulsory or voluntary liquidation. Then we come to contract law. Contract laws are essential in business operation. Understanding contract law is crucial for creating valid and enforceable agreements and resolving disputes that may arise from breaches of contract. And I said, this contract law is a full course at the law school, but you need to have understanding of how it works so that as business owners or business leaders, when documents are before you, you want to look at the various elements that every document or every contract must have Does those documents meet the valid contracts or the specification for what? A valid contract. That is the essence of this course for us. Intellectual property. Like we said, if you have a business idea and you have not registered it, it's still not yours. Until you go and register, it means that name has been registered to you, or it's now your sole property. You have the intellectual property over such name. And maybe you have designed some logos that your business will use, or some trademarks. You need to go and register them so that you can have that right to use it, or that right to prevent others from what? Using it. If you don't go and register that property that you think you are the only person who developed it, then tomorrow if you see someone using it, you cannot what? Send them to court for stealing your trademark or for stealing your brand name. There was a time in Tamale here, we know this product very well. What's the name? Tampico. This is a common product. Tampico. Please, do we all know this product? Okay. A gentleman who has worked with them, know how the process is done, decided to break away and form what you call Fandico. Not Fandango, Fandico. Fandico. Yes, Fandango is part of the, what's the name? Farm milk products. Yes. And even Farm milk produces Tampico sometimes, the sachet one. They have that right to produce. Then a different company have the right to do the bottle one, Tampico, the bottle one. A staff of that company resigned and formed his own Fandico. The bottling, same. The only difference is that the cap, the cover of the bottle, Tampico has their own to be what? Green, and they did their own blue. That is the only difference. And they have to go to court. Tampico realized that he's creating unfavorable competition for them. But when you take Tampico, and immediately after that, somebody gives Fandico, there is a taste behind Fandico, which is not the same as what? Tampico. That is trade secret. The reason why we don't have Coca-Cola company in Ghana, but do you know what we have? Coca-Cola bottling company. That's what we have in Ghana. They prepare the syrup and bring it to us to bottle. Just keep it in a bottle. That's what we do in Ghana. You see, the trade secret of Coca-Cola is only reserved in few staff. And those staff, you can't resign. You cannot resign. Because when you are taking that appointment to be in that department, it's like you have sworn an oath. You see, such that if you resign and it's not as, if you are leaving and it's not as a result of death or retirement, even retirement, there are times you have to take what you call in military. Is my officer here? Or he's gone out? They will debrief you. In army, they call it debriefing. If you are a senior staff and you are in charge of certain information, and only for you to wake up one day and say, oh, I won't do the work again. Hey, national security information. You are just walking away like that, and you do the work again. No, they have to debrief you. They have to debrief you. And if you don't take care after debriefing you, I never even remember anybody that you've ever seen before. That's what debriefing does. They will debrief you and inject you such that you cannot remember all the things you've done in the past. The security, yes, more than this. That is the right way. They will format you. So after formatting you, are walking empty. All the things you have done in the past, you can't remember it. It's part of the security regulation. So when you are moving to certain offices or you are getting to certain rank in those areas, you must know the risk that comes with it. That is why they also make sure they take care of you well. So that thinking of leaving is not an option. Is it because of money that you leave or what? Okay, because Pepsi has always wanted to have the taste of Coca-Cola. They can't get it. Coca-Cola, that is what has maintained them in the market. If not, they would have been moved away long time. And they also take other strategies to kill other businesses. If you read about in Ghana, we have a malt called Schweppes malt. Schweppes malt. Yes, Coca-Cola deliberately, they use a marketing strategy to kill them off the market, and they bought them. After they realized they are struggling, then they offered to buy them because they were the company that could compete with them when they were entering Ghana. Realizing that to enter Ghana and have the market leadership, this one, we either buy them or we kill them. So you have to use a strategy that you can use. We all knew how Glo, up to now, Glo has not been very strong in Ghana. Even if they are, it's only data. They came and met competition already in existence. MTN is there, Vodafone is there, Tigo is there. Then suddenly you want to come. We've heard about how you were strong. You came and removed even market leaders in Nigeria, other African market, and you want to enter Ghana. You see, I believe when you get to the point of the business economics, you learn about this oligopoly market and monopoly market and other things. And you realize that it's a war. For you to survive, you must also prepare for war. If not, those who are already in the market or those who are coming will find ways and means to take you off. So we have to learn and know about this. And wherever we are or whatever we are doing, we have to protect our trade secrets. We have to protect our trade secrets. Those of you who eat bread, there's a bread in Kofodia. Sometimes they bring it to Tamale. Be Foster. Others have tried to get their taste, but they've kept that secret for the family. There's a lady in Tamale here, Shekina Bakeries. She has a bread called Special Bread. People have come to offer his number one staff 10 times his salary just for him to live and join them. For them to be able to do that bread, special bread. So it's a trade secret that you must keep, and that is what will help you survive in a competition that comes on your way. Employment law, like I said, we are either one of this and this. Now, if we are here or we are here, there are laws that regulate our activity. The process of recruitment have laws that govern it. When you are recruited, how you survive in the organization. Is the organization creating environment that makes it discriminatory to you? Okay, there are companies that when they employ you as a lady, they will tell you can't marry for the next period, depending on their policy. Why? Because they saw you beautiful. They want to keep you in charge of their customer service so that they can attract more customers. Only for you to enter the next week, you say you are married. And when you marry, you know what comes afterwards. Your stomach is now in front of you. And the kind of attraction they want to have will not come again. So some will employ you and put some policies in place or measures that if you are in this particular department, maybe to give birth, you have to wait for a certain period. Okay, so you need to study those offers. The offer letters you have, you need to know them, the conditions that are in there. Is it favorable to you? But most of the time, like I said, when you are taking bank loan, the terms and conditions, we look at it later on. We are interested in where should I sign so that I will be credited today. That is what we are very much concerned about. The same way when we are taking appointment letter, we look at how much I'll be paid. Sometimes we don't read the terms and conditions or the job description. This job description, will it give me time to even worship God again? We don't look at it. We only look at it that, oh, they will pay me gross salary, 250,000. Quickly, we pick a calculator, break it over 12. How much we are going to get every month. That one here is the most easiest thing that everybody does. If you take offer letter, look at the gross, first, pick a calculator, vary by 12. Then you know that every month, oh, it is 6,000 that will be paid. I'm okay. Then, before we even think of the offer letter, then we sign accept. What are the issues in there? Are there discriminatory policies or there are harassment issue or the wages and the hour? Some organization will tell you have to work from what? 6 to 6. What is the normal standard? Normal standard is what? 8 to 5. Okay, you are a mother. Can you manage with 6 to 6? And sometimes the 6 to 6 is not 6 to 6. You will go only to realize a 6 to 8. You can't even go home and meet your husband. Some time passed in the banking sector. It was difficult for the young ladies to get husbands, but they are not available. They wake up at dawn and they will come back at night. Who will see them? Sometimes Sundays they are even working. Saturdays is mandatory. Sunday, there are some of the banks that operate Sunday branch because they are located or they are close to big churches that will take offering. And when they take, is the bankers who even count. They don't allow the church members to count. If you are a staff and you are supposed to be on that schedule and you don't have enough staff to be rotating you, does it mean that your 7 days in a week is all going to be work? How do you have time for yourself? So sometimes we have to look at those policies, how they will be favorable to us. My brother, the food is having a toll on him. You are far away from us. So it's something that we'll look at. Chairman. It's not moving. Consumer protection. Those things we buy, or those things that are happening. Sometimes we buy power. You load power to less than an hour, it gets finished. Who do we complain to? Sometimes you go to the VRA there, nobody is ready to listen to you. Okay, do we have people that we can what? Move to and complain, and those people will work on our behalf. So law protects consumers from deceptive practices and false advertisement and unsafe product. You see, when a company is producing in their factory, they don't know who will be consuming the product. Okay, therefore you must have your consumer in mind, making sure that you meet all the segments in the market. You don't know whether a child will buy the product. That is why some of them that are not meant for children, they put age limitation on it. Okay, that this one is not good for what? Below 18 years. If you are pregnant, do not take this product. If you are lactating or you are a breastfeeding mother, do not what? Take this product. You must have your consumers in mind and put out adverts that will not what? Deceive them. When we come to contract law, we will learn about those adverts that they put it out there just to fool our mind. Okay, and in law, though some are, we call them what's the name? An invitation to treat. Yes, they are just meant to invite us to make an offer, but in reality, all the things they've said are not true. Okay, and we must have consumer protection laws that will protect us, we the consumers who purchase those products. Antitrust and competition law. Antitrust and competition law. Glo thought their SIM card was being acquired. They never knew that somebody is buying them and hoarding them in his bedroom, after which they will burn it, or after which they will throw it anywhere. After they launch, nobody is buying credit. Our senior men here will bear with me. Some time passed in Ghana. To get a SIM card of Vodafone, you need an introduction letter. Yes, because they were the only people in the system. They don't see why they should come down to our level. When MTN was coming, MTN came with what? Our 50% discount of their product. The first MTN SIM card was a space phone, was about 600,000, 60 cities. When Vodafone was one touch, then that change was about 1.2 or even 1 million cities. Even then, if you have the money, they say bring introduction letter before you buy it. When competition came, we all saw what happened. Even in the bank, there was a time GCB can close at 2 o'clock and tell you, go, we don't need your money. Because after all, they are the only people in the system. But when competition came to the banking sector, somewhere in 2003, 2004, when the universal banking license was given, and now everybody can do everything. Unlike previously, some banks were only noted for certain type of business, but they gave everybody universal license. Competition brought them down to the point that now they are chasing us to come and take loan. Those days you have to go and beg for the loan. Though you will pay, but you have to beg the manager and talk so much. But now the banks are coming after us to take loan. So that is what competition brings. And some of them do not trust themselves. So they offer promotions that are not realistic. So these laws promote fair competition and prevent monopolistic practices that can harm consumers and what? Competitors. Environmental regulations. Those of us who are in the fuel business, if you want to site a station, you have to go and take permits. And getting the permit, one of them you have to take is EPA. EPA. If EPA has not given you permit, you can't start. Even church, if you cite a church, before you start operating, you are supposed to take a permit from EPA for them to be sure. Yes, for them to know that you are coming to make a noise, which is what acceptable to the people around. Even resident, you have to what? When they are doing the permits, those of you who work at local government, and particularly the department that takes care of or that handles the permit, when you go, you have to go through the regional or the district architect for them to vet your drawing and approve it. The EPA, the EPA division within the district will have to approve it that you are not building on waterway, or where you are building is not what's the name? A reserve area. Sometimes when you take a plan, a big plan, there are places reserved for nature where we call the grooves. You see that they will leave a small place in a community and it's only trees that are there. And some of us believe that they go and do sacrifices there. But when you look at the land management law itself, you must leave some place for even these birds that are in the air. Okay, some of you will build and you won't plant a tree. Now the government has reserved a place for those trees to be there so that wildlife or birds in the air can also perch. We see it as what? A shrine groups or a shrine that the community leaders go there to do sacrifices. It's important we know about those things. Then taxation. Tax is one of the things that you cannot run away from. You can't operate a business in Ghana where you dodge tax. If you are dodging tax, it's a crime. Tax evasion is a crime. It's a very big crime. Now, the law permits the finance ministry to adjust taxes based on the economic condition of the country. Some time past, some of the taxes were reduced to make sure that we have more people paying. Other times, the taxes, some of them are increased to make sure that either we prevent people from what? Going into that line of business. Tobacco is one of the products that have the highest tax, but people consume it like it is coke. Okay, so because of that, all the time you must increase the tax. It's just a way to discourage people from what? Bringing it. But because there's always a demand for that product, whether the tax is even 100%, the companies will still import tobacco. Alcohol. The last time there was a survey that TV3 was giving a news highlight. Alem, my hometown, is leading in Ghana. Buta region. The alcohol consumers, they have the highest, 37%. Hey! So I was like, hey, what is happening? And that is among the men. The men, Buta region have the highest alcohol consumers. Then Upper East, women are having the highest. So I was like, hey. I don't know what is happening. It's like these days, the appetite for alcohol is so high that people cannot do without it. No, but it's serious. Sometimes when you finish drinking, it will come back. You will come back to your senses and your frustration or your problem still persists. And you think you drank and you're forgotten about your worries. But when you are back to your senses, everything is back to the same thing. So tax law determines how businesses are taxed based on their based on their structure and their activity. When you are a sole proprietor, you pay income tax because the income or the profit that you make is an income, personal income. One man business, whatever they make is a personal income. Partnership, the income they also make is personal income because the profit is for the partners. They will share it according to their proportion in the business. But when you come to what? Company limited by what? Liability or company unlimited companies, there are two levels of taxes that they pay. Corporate tax and also personal income tax on the dividend that are shared for the shareholders. And so if you understand this structure, when you form a company and the GRA guys are after you, do not say that they are over-taxing you. When you form company, you are a shareholder. The company itself will pay corporate tax, which some time ago used to be 25%. But I believe I learned currently is around 30%. Because, yes, government need more money. So taxes must be increased. So 30%. That is why I said there are times when the government realizes that there's a lot of people or we want more people to pay, then you also reduce it. Taxes are increased or decreased based on economic conditions. So if the conditions are favorable in the country, we will reduce the taxes for more people to come to the basket. If it's only 10 people in this class who pay tax, it means that we have to keep increasing it to get more from them. But if it is reduced and we can increase the number to 20, to 30, to 40, it will mean that government can get more money. But sometimes there are some of the products you have to increase the tax because they are products that when you learn economics, they are inelastic. People, whether the price goes up or not, they will buy it. Such a product, you have to put in some tax that can enable you, the country, to make some money. If not, the rich there will take advantage and keep making money. Data privacy and security. This currently, I think Ghana now have a commission actually in charge of what? Data protection. Data protection is very, very, very important. As an organization, you must make sure that you have a backup. If you don't have a backup and something happens to your only data, particularly the banks, you won't know whose balance is this or whose balance is that. It's very important that businesses have data privacy and security and must always prepare for the unfortunate or the bad day. International business law is also part of the legal environment of business that we need to learn about. Some of us import, those who are into importation or exportation, you must know the country's regulation and the country that you are importing from or you are exporting to, their regulations. Sometimes our country standards may be a bit lower. So you produce and you meet our standard, but the standard in those countries are so high that you have to make sure your quality assurance is very good to give them that protection or that confidence that you are bringing them something which is wholesome for consumption. Corporate governance. The one-man business owners. We know this one day, we don't work with them. You take your own decision. You fire, you hire. You fire, you hire at any time. But when you are a limited liability company, what is your succession plan? If you are not there, how does a business move on? Those things are under the corporate governance policy that we need to know. That's why these days, ICA has also made it a point that you cannot graduate without writing a course on what? Corporate policy. Because they churn out accountants who do not have understanding of what? Corporate issues. So now most of the professional bodies are making sure that corporate governance is also a course or a topic that you must go through to have that understanding. Because as business leaders, if your understanding of corporate governance is poor, it will affect the entire organization's future prospects, or even your going concern will be highly affected. Your succession plan, the people who are in charge of certain positions, whether they are doing what is right, and even there are staff that they don't want to train anybody. Their fear is that if I train this guy, tomorrow I'm not around. My job is what? Under threat. Okay, as a leader of an organization, make sure that there's a backup for every staff. Every staff must have a backup. Because if not, those who think they are so important will hold the company to ransom. The day they will not be there, it means your company cannot work. You must always have a backup, a succession plan that if A goes, somebody is there to replace A. If B goes, somebody is there to replace B. And that is very important under the corporate governance. Bankruptcy and insolvency law. You see, when you see a learner on the road, when you see somebody driving and there's a learner plate, it means this person, you don't do some overtaking just anyhow because he's a learner. He can turn at any point in time because he's still learning. So when you see a learner on the way, sometimes you give them some space. The distance between the person and you who is behind, there must be enough space because they can do anything at any time. If you are a company, you are struggling and you cannot declare bankruptcy for yourself or insolvency. people will see you as a strong company and they will come to you the same way you used to be. But the moment you raise the red flag, I'm in trouble. The law should come to my aid. Even those who you are owing, they have some sympathy for you. Okay? If I tell you that, oh, I don't have money, I was told of a story of one of the previous, I think, yes, he's dead now. Chairman, is it Mobila? Isa Mobila? Yes. I was told of a story that if Chairman owes you money, okay, by the time you are planning to visit him to go and ask for the money, he is already in your house, coming to eat your little food you have with you. He's trying to give you the signal that food I don't even have. So if you come to my house, you can't get your money. So he would rather pay you a visit first and even eat with you. A signal to tell you, I don't have money now to pay you. Okay? So if you are a company who is having financial difficulties, it's important you go through the law. Either you declare yourself bankrupt so that those who owe you will give you time to sell your asset and pay off. Or the law will declare an insolvency on you, mandatory, and close you down. Sell your asset and pay your debt. We all know a lot of companies currently that are struggling or that are currently undergoing insolvency. Just that the process is slow. All of us who've invested in DKM or Men's Gold, we are expecting that they sell their assets and we get them. But fortunately or unfortunately, most of the assets are rented assets. But the building you see were rented. When they came to Tamale, he rented King David's place, branded the place. You would think he has bought the place. Okay. When the problems start coming, the man just pick off his logo so that his building will be safe. Because if no, people come and hijack the place and say that they uphold that asset to themselves. Some of the microfinance institutions, when they were going down, people quickly rush there and pick their car or anything they can hold. Before they say Jack, they are keeping those things at their place. If you go through the law, if you have financial difficulties, the law will be there to protect you and give you some breathing space to arrange yourself and sort your debtors off. So it's important we are informed about these laws and their regulations as business owners or as employees of organizations. We need to know about all these laws that we operate in as a country or as an organization. And if the need arises, you seek a lawyer. If you read most of the bank loan documents, they will tell you that seek an advice of a third party, preferably a lawyer. But you see, the loan amount is how much? When you consult a lawyer, he may ask you for 10%. And the lawyers too, depending on your level or your years in the bar, it also affects how much you charge. If I graduate next 2 years and I'm called to the bar, I cannot charge about 5% of any business that is brought to me. Those who are 7 years in the bar, they can charge up to 10%. Those who are beyond 10 years in the bar, they can charge 15 or even 20%. So the levels have its own fee that you can charge. Now the lowest you get, which is the small lawyers, people are not even ready to consult us, but they don't want to give us the small money. And they will take the loan. When there are problems, then they will now come to court and pay more. So it's important that we know about some of these laws, and if it becomes necessary, then we seek an advice of a professional. We want to now look at the constitutional principles and their impact on businesses. There are certain principles that have been outlined in our constitution. How do they affect the businesses that we operate in or the organizations that we work with in the country? As citizens, we need to know this so that if you are in an organization and something is happening, you know that this is where I can go for what? A remedy. Or based on my business line of operation, this is where I'm supposed to go. Not because you have money, you just move to and fro to do business. So constitutional principle play a significant role in shaping the legal and the regulatory environment within which businesses operate. And these principles are derived from country's constitution and outline the fundamental rights, powers, and responsibilities of government and its citizens. I said, when you take our constitution, chapter 5 of our constitution from article 12 up to 33 is all on our what? Fundamental rights. Okay? If you have an issue with somebody and you are supposed to go to court, and the person have your telephone recording, or the person have your recording, if you are not informed that you are being recorded, that cannot be an evidence in court, because that would have breached your fundamental right for privacy under Article 18. So you see, sometimes when we are having conversation with people, we have a plan in mind that tomorrow you want to use it as an evidence. You will secretly record it. To surprise that if you bring that evidence to court, it won't fly. You see, there's difference between investigative journalism and you having a normal conversation with me. Oh, it depends on your line of questions and the impulse of what you want to achieve. Yes, sometimes, before he enters some organization, he sits with management, okay, and tell them what he wants to do, because there's a perception out there. When he wanted to enter Asylum Down, the mental home, the whole management were aware that somebody is coming. He will come in the format of a mad person and go through the system. He even allow himself to be injected with the medications for what? Mentally derailed person. But at the end of the day, he's just using it for the company or the organization to know the loopholes. Okay. So when this information is spelled out to the managers of the organization and they agree, it means whatever he records does not what? Breach the privacy law anymore. The organization has given you the go ahead. We want to know the truth about our organization. Do it for us. If somebody wants to do free research and give you recommendation, this one will you say no? Yes, like my research work I want to undertake for a microfinance organization. I've gone to Brown Harpo, consulted it, whatever the outcome, I'll share with you. You would have paid somebody to do that research for you. As for me, it's a requirement for me to graduate as a PhD candidate. So I want to study your organization, do an impact assessment. When I'm done, I'll bring all the recommendations to you, including the troubles or the problems that you are facing and possible what? Solution. Quickly, they are in a hurry to allow me to work with them, but they will need a letter from the university so that arrangement becomes formal. Yeah, so when ANAS approach organizations, that this is the perception of the public about your organization, and therefore I want to conduct my investigation, and these are the process, and you are allowed, then the privacy protection is not breached. You were given that permission. But yes, it's still contestable. People still what? Argue in court, and they are able to have their way through. I mean, aware? We will look at that one later. Yes, sir. Different, you see, the CCTV camera, the organization or the person who installed it was installing it for a purpose. That is why, by law, if you have a dog in your house, you are supposed to put at the entrance, beware of dogs. So that anybody who is entering your house knows that if I enter this place wrongfully, I can be attacked by the dog. Organizations that or do CCTV camera, when you request for them, after the process, they are supposed to put a warning that this house is under the monitoring of a CCTV camera. If you are aware of this, and you still go ahead to do whatever you want to do, that one, they have recorded it, they've not broken any secrecy or privacy of after all, that environment is not yours. So why only want to go and have your privacy there in somebody's area and to be captured under his camera? Which one? No, you enter, I put a warning in front of my door, beware of dog. It's enough information for you. Okay. So CCTV camera, there's a logo design that you're supposed to put on your wall to show that this house have a CCTV camera. You see, that is the aspect of the law that you need to prove it. You need to prove. Maybe when he put it, you say you have not seen it. He to say he has put it. So it become an issue of how to provide evidence for your case. So, but where you take your phone, like as I'm teaching now, then maybe I make a comment concerning Cecilia Dapa, which is currently under investigation. You take a video of me, everything, then you go and give it to what? The powers that be. Then they are using it against me as contempt. I am teaching, it's an academic environment. I can make examples. I can make, yes. But it depends on the conclusion of my statement. Okay, so that video, I can contest it in court. But the online that my brother Mudasi is doing, I'm aware that as I'm speaking, some people are listening to me online, somewhere in their homes. Okay. The president can watch because he's a student. He has paid his fees. It's allowed. Okay. So when that is why what's the name? If a judge make a statement in court, the Constitution provides the judge a protection. Once he's sitting on that high table, whatever mistake is made, you cannot take it against him personally. Yes, the law gives him that protection. If the law hasn't given that protection, he will be scared that if I make a judgment, the man who is standing at the corner, the way he's watching me, he can attack me. But the protection the law has given him knows that whatever judgment I make, I am under protection. If you attack me, it's a crime that you will deal with yourself. Okay. So when, yes, before you come, when a teacher is teaching in class and he makes inference or he refers to topical issues even in the country, it depends on the side that you are. I know this class, if you ask or if you throw a question now, which is political, you have A or B. NDC or NPP, you see the division clearly. Oh, okay. They also exist there. It's if you don't have a representation in parliament, assume that you are dead. That's the presumption. So, senior, yes. Yes. Yeah, to do what? Feedbacks. Okay. Okay. Yes, if you are not been informed that the interaction that you are having with the person will be used for an advert, okay, you have the right to sue. Because you would have wished that you are anonymous. Whatever you do, nobody knows about it. But where you are being put on video without your knowledge, and you are used to make money, because when you give a feedback, there are a lot of people who believe in you. That is why I was expecting that government should have arrested those celebrities who were endorsing men's gold. Most of them do not have even an investment, one person herself there. They have signed contract to endorse and they collected money and they have done an endorsement. All of us here, we are either fan of Shatta Wale or Stonebwoy or any other artist who endorse men's gold. Based on our celebrity or the fan base of those people, people say, if my own artist, Shatta Wale, is endorsing this, it means a good company. Okay? If there's no contract, the company will never use them. So the issue that my brother spoke about, most of these traditional healers and other things, you see, yesterday I was teaching the distance today. I said on labor law, there's a lot of things that we sleep on. There are a lot of rights that we as employees have that we sleep on because in our country, there's this word, Germanic. How do you say it in English? Let it be. Let it be. Oh, this thing, if you want to follow it, it may not end well. So just let it be. Okay? So your picture was used in an advert, which you are not aware of. Only for people to say, oh, if this guy is endorsing this product, then it's a good product. Let me buy it. And you buy it only to realize that, oh, it's a fake thing. you can't go and hold him. After he didn't ask you to buy. Like we said, it's an invitation to treat. But once he's being used, he needs to be informed. So there he can sue the what? The people who are using you to do the advert or to pull other people. But like I said, it's a form of invitation to treat. They will tell you that they did not force you to buy. They just told you about the product. Buying decision is left for you, the consumer, to buy. So you who has been used, it is your right to either sue, either they come with a disclaimer and make sure that they free you, or they take your pictures as an advertisement material from the system. If not, people will be buying just because of you, and only to realize that they are all fake products, and they will attribute it to you. Tomorrow, even if you come with a correct product, they will say that, but this guy was part of that product that we bought, which never lasted for even a day. Okay, at the end of the day, your reputation has been what? Damaged. That is why you need to come out early and protect yourself from those charlatans. Yes, sir. Hey, well, just an orbital. You mentioned it in passing. We just mentioned it in passing. Oh. Yes. Okay. A case. Yes, if you are heard of Raphael Kubaji case, when you Google it, you get the full citation. If you are not informed that you are being recorded, okay, whatever place they use that you're recording as an evidence cannot fly, because it will break your fundamental right in Article 18. So Raphael Kubaji case is one of the authorities in Ghana, where there was a misunderstanding concerning a land issue. Okay. Then the tenant who is on the land, okay, had a conversation with one of the party. And he said, yes, even the land that you are talking about, your brother told me that you are the rightful owner. Okay, your brother told me that you are the rightful owner. Not knowing this guy who is talking to the third party, who happened to be a tenant, is being recorded. So when the case went to court, then the guy decided to what? Produce this as an evidence that even this man said that the land belongs to me, that my brother is just fighting an unworthy cause. Then the court wanted to use it. Then they raised an objection that no, that recording was not done right. It was a breach of the person's fundamental right to privacy. Okay, and that case went upward Supreme Court for interpretation. When there's a case in the lower court and there's an issue regarding an interpretation of a constitutional provision, you move straight to a Supreme Court, because they are the people who have jurisdiction, original jurisdiction, when it comes to interpretation of constitutional provision. And they say, yes, it's a breach of the person's fundamental right. You did not inform him or her that this conversation that we are having, I'm recording it, so that the person will be careful with some of the statements he or she makes. We all know that the moment they put a camera on you, the way you used to speak, rattle, will change, because now camera is on you. Okay, that's why those who do the movie, I clap for them a lot. The last time we were supposed to do small documentary. Look, you have to try it like 5-6 times. I was like, and people do video simple like that, and we watch and we are clapping, we are laughing. If you watch behind the scene, you see the number of times they try that same statement. That is how it is. If you are informed that you are being recorded, you are careful with the choice of words. But when you know you are speaking free out of your own mind, you talk anyhow. You talk as you say, whether it's true or not. Sometimes you really add some what? Euphemisms. Add some words to make it, so people will believe it. Okay? So in that case, it will not fly. So when you read Raphael Kubaji's case, you will get the authority we are speaking about. And there's another case. It's about ADB and one Abna Pokuya. I'll get a full citation and share with you. A banker like my brother, customer service. Then the lady asked for the balance and he gave her the balance. Again, then somebody was sitting in the customer chair and heard about the balance. Okay. Now, you are owing the person. He said, I don't have money. He said, I heard in the bank. He came and they say he has 2,000 Ghana cedi in account. Like, assuming Cecilia Dapa, the family people in the village asking, oh, Auntie Sisi, pay our school fees. I don't have money. I don't have money. Then now we all heard that she has so much money in the bank. For this case, it is not about breaking her secrecy. So when that happened, then the person said, no, the bank has given this information to a third party that they are not supposed to do. So the case have to go even up to appeal court. Okay, a staff head must rule. And he knows that you don't give bank balances to anyone if the person is not an account owner. It's a way of what? Keeping the customer's confidentiality. Okay, so it was based on that the lady who was a staff, who was giving the balance but on a loud voice and made a third party, a journalist who is sitting there, heard it and made a case out of it. The lady had to be sacked from the bank. Then she sued that she was doing her job. She was doing the job. But they said, no, the information you gave to a third party out there who pick it and has used it in another domain. So I'll get to that full case, aside the Raphael Kubadi case. But so we are looking at the constitutional provisions or principles that are having impact on our business. Rule of law. The principle of rule of law ensures that laws apply equally to all individuals and entities, including businesses. There are some businesses that are tagged as political businesses. Now, as we speak now, NPP is in power. There are some institutions that people have already earmarked that if another party, NDC, even can, will collapse this one, will collapse this one, will collapse this one, because they felt what they also have a preference for has been what? Collapse under a particular regime. Therefore, we will target businesses that we perceive are what? Party. But when there's rule of law, there's equal application of the law to every institution. When we were doing the banking cleanup, some banks were safe, others were allowed to go down the drain. Okay? Yes, Data Bank is not a bank. It's not a commercial bank. You need to know the difference. The banking cleanup was making reference to commercial banks. Commercial banks. Data banks and investment bank, and they need a small capital to form it. Me and you, if we have that capital, can form it. Yes, Gold Coast Security is an investment bank. Now, you need to know their line of businesses they operate. Now, Gold Coast Security pick money from the public as an investment money. Unfortunately, give the money to their another subsidiary who is running a commercial bank. He has given the money to what? Contractors for a loan. Contractors have done work for what? Individuals and government institutions. And government institution is the biggest employer in this country. We all know. Though we know that if you want to make money or if you are in the private sector, there are a lot of business there, but all of them are linked to what? Government. If you want to construct a road, it's only in Ghana that government wants to construct every road. But there are other developed countries, banks come together, construct a road and put a toll on it. They raise the revenue from the toll and they take care of the syndicated loan. If you research or read a little bit about most of the development in UK, it's a private sector. They only go for the permission. They'll build this road and put a toll. Every money they raise is for the banks that came together to put it up. Accra Kumasi, if you just sit on the road from 24 hours, cars are moving on that road. Why can't the private institution, the banks come together and build it? But you see, when they build it, there will not be loopholes for people to chop money here and there. So government want to do the same thing. So since you want to do it, you have to go and borrow money to do it. Some banks have cash there they want to invest. So this is an opportunity for them to invest. So if Gold Coast, you pick the money at a higher rate, decide to give it to your subsidiary at a lower rate, They will also give it to a contractor at a higher rate to make profit, which will affect the group, not just Gold Coast, the entire group, Group Indu. And people are not paying, and you are cash strapped. Your insolvency position has gone up. How do you survive? How do the accountants among us, please help us? How do you survive? Your debts are more than your revenue. How do you pay them? Okay, so Data Bank is an investment bank. They are not part of the commercial bank. So when we come to the investment, we have to look at the provisioning, the requirement. Have Data Bank met those requirements? If yes, and they are left off the hook, fine. But other companies have survived. SAS, Fortune Fund, Togbi Apedes investment company, IC Securities, they are all investment house. They are alive. They are alive because of their line of investment. Okay, that is why corporate governance is very important. Corporate governance is very important. That I am the owner of the business. Whatever decision I take, whether it's good for the company or not, I have to do it. It's what is killing some of the vibrant businesses in Ghana. You look at the chain of businesses. Okay, you take a Group Indu, they have over 30-something subsidiaries. Okay, and they were all linked to the bank. And how does the bank get money from the public? Their investment arm is collecting money from the various sources. So they bring it to the bank to do business. Because you, as a customer, you know Gold Coast, you can't go there and take a loan. You only go there and invest your money. But the bank know that that money, we can go there and pick it as a loan and what? Use it somewhere else. Okay. And since we're a group, if Gold Coast make a profit, Gold Coast, they make a profit of say 100%. And another subsidiary, let's say Black Star, or it is Gold Coast, they change to Black Star Brokering later on. They have Fresh Pack. Indu has a company that produces takeaway pack. Fresh Pack make a profit of 10%. Coconut Group, all of them, assuming they all make overall profit of 20%. When we consolidate all of them, so when the bank is making financial statement, they have a statement for the bank and a statement for the group. At the end of the day, the profit made from the various subsidiaries plus the Gold Coast will all affect the entire group. The same way, if the bank need money and the Gold Coast have it, it's just by way of what? Transfer. So that they can save on tax. Okay, the accountants will help us. There's one of the accounting policies or accounting provision. The trading between subsidiaries. There's a way we account for it. Please, any accountant here, help us. I'm not a chartered accountant. So, yes, but when I remember, those things save on tax. If a subsidiary sells to another subsidiary, they enjoy tax waiver. Or when they are calculating that, because they can give it to them at discount. What they would have given to the public at a market price. When the subsidiary are trading among themselves, they can trade at a discount. And that discount helps in the tax computation. So the group tax that they will pay at the end of the day will be less compared to if they were dealing individually with the outside body. So rule of law provide for equal entity. The law apply equally. They will not segregate some. Now, with the issue of the bank, yes, some banks were put under GATT, Ghana Amalgamated Trust. Ghana Amalgamated Trust. So some banks who couldn't raise their own capital were placed here. So GATT became like a mother who is providing food for those banks, and they are still alive. Though, yes, they may not be that strong, but most of our local banks that couldn't survive or that couldn't raise capital were placed under GATT. It means their leadership will now change. Their corporate governance structure will change because GATT is now providing you money. If I give you money to run your business, it is prudent that a staff of mine is with your management so that you don't make any decision. Yes, like IMF gave us money. There's an IMF staff at BOG right now. Yes, currently there's an IMF representative with our Bank of Ghana board. Whatever decision Bank of Ghana makes, IMF board, staff there must contribute because their money is with you now. So they also guide how you do your things. The same way, when GATT invests in your company, they must what? Provide leadership. They must provide advice. There are some businesses you want to take, it may not be bankable right, or the risk inherent could be too high for you. But they knowing that their money is now with you, tell you, my brother, be coming down. Slow down your pace at which you want to run. Oh. That is how come finance minister was advised to review his projection from 2.8 what 1.5. You want to grow. If we allow you to grow the way we want to grow, maybe the way we want you to use our money will be affected. So he was advised to bring down his projection, considering the global economy as a whole. Property right. The last time when I mentioned that when you check on Article 22, it gives right to spouses not to be deprived in marriage, whether at divorce or even when the marriage is separated. The Constitution makes a provision for that. Any of us can have our property, enjoy it any way we want, and we have the right to what? To do all these things. But there are laws that we must what? Obey. So constitutional protection of property right ensure that businesses can own and use property without undue interference from government or other parties. The countries that are currently in turmoil, Niger, that's recently, when you watch or tell you, people's cars were being destroyed just because of anger. Yes. You could have, but he's angry because he's been seeing this group of people to be cheating us. So today, since we have overthrown them, we have to destroy all that they have built over years and come back to the same level. When the dust settles, the same country will go through a process of rebuilding again, which will always retard their speed of development. So this includes real estate or real property, that's land and building. Intellectual property, patent, trademark, and copyright are all captured under what? The property protection or the property right of an individual. The Constitution gives us the opportunity to make property and enjoy it freely without any interference. So as I'm in my house, I'm not worried that I'll be there and the militias will come and say that the government says you should leave your place. No. Okay, even if I'm an enemy alien, you know an enemy alien. As we speak now, assuming Togo, we are having a fight with Togo. Every Togolese in Ghana who has made property will be afraid that at any moment in time, I can be attacked. And therefore, they can either sell that property very cheap because of the situation. You either do that and save your life, or you run away from your own house and you come back, you will not get it again because your house has been captured by the other country because you have become an enemy. In our Constitution provides equal enjoyment of our fundamental right, whether you are a citizen or not. As long as you find yourself on Ghana land, the Constitution provides that right for you to make property and also enjoy. Senior. Due process. There is a constitutional guarantee of due process that businesses must also what? Go through. The Registrar General has been mandated by law to regulate the activities of business when it comes to what? Registration and meeting other statutory requirements. That due process is there, provided by the Constitution. So if you are registering business or you have a business running, the Constitution mandates an authority to make sure that, one, you renew your business operation. You renew your business certificate every year. And if it's a sole proprietor, you just go and pay renewal and go. If it's a limited liability company, you must provide your financials so that government will be able to know how much profit you make and know whether you are paying the right taxes or not. That have a constitutional provision. And somebody is mandated to go through that for the president or for the state. Freedom of speech and expression. There are private people who operate what? Media houses. Does the country provide that opportunity for people to speak? Freedom of speech. I read somewhere that Idi Amin says that yes, freedom of speech is guaranteed. But freedom after speech, he cannot guarantee that one for you. But thank God in Ghana, as we speak now, we all have freedom of speech. And after making the speech, yes, our free movement is, except where your freedom of speech exceed the limit and enter into somebody's also operational area. Yes, when you just pick a phone, call president, you insult him, he may laugh, but the powers that be or the security agency will not understand what is happening. So they have to first pick you for questioning. Maybe mentally there's a problem, so that they can send you to the right quarters. But just to pick a phone, you call the president and say you are a foolish man. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. So yes, we have that right to speak our mind. But sometimes when your speaking become a problem, like the Muntie 3, you see, the comment they made were treasonable comment. So the law will take care of you in that regard. Vomawo, he made a statement which are treasonable statements. There are statements we can make and work free, but some of them are treasonable. When it happens, if you tell me that you will kill me, I have to quickly inform the police that somebody in this class says he will kill me. If I don't inform the police and I'm dead, how would they know that somebody threatened my life? That one is not that, because your guarantee of freedom of speech is not going to affect me. Your free speech is going to have effect on my life. So I must quickly inform the right authority. So freedom of speech is a protection which is guaranteed under the Constitution. And businesses are allowed, particularly the advertising company, the marketing, corporate communication, they are all protected from harassment after making certain statements. Freedom of contract. Some of us here have done contract for government. Okay, in other jurisdictions, we don't have that right to even have a contract with government. But in our country, that freedom to have a contract, businesses rely on that freedom to enter into contract with other parties. Constitutional principle that protect the freedom of ensure that businesses can negotiate, establish an agreement based on their own terms. Okay, if you want to do any project in Ghana, you can have a contract with a citizen as long as that project will not have a security implication on the country. If there will be security implication, then maybe you have to go to the government authority and take what permits. Assuming you want to build a nuclear plant in Ghana, but nuclear there is not an individual business. For you to say just have an individual contract, sign, and then start work. No. For nuclear, is going beyond even a nation. You must also follow the due process of the UN Convention on Nuclear Weapons. What you want to do, does it meet that regulation or does it meet that standard? The country standard, before you can go ahead and sign such a contract. If not, any other contract, we are free to engage in them in the country. Equal protection. Fundamental human right is there to protect all of us. To make sure that there's no discrimination, whether gender, religion, nationality. So if a foreigner is even in this country, as long as he has the right document to do business, we don't take advantage of them not being Ghanaian and say that what we will do agreement or we put up policies that will discriminate against them. The Constitution provides that everybody within Ghana is protected under what? The equal protection right. The right to life, free movement is guaranteed in our Constitution. Please, any question? Yes, sir. In business law. Oh, yes. Let me take the banking aspect. Yeah, there are, is it 3 or 4 reasons where the confidentiality will not be obeyed? 1, when it is demanded by law. A customer like, yes, Madam Cecilia's case. By law, the OSP is mandated to go to any bank that the woman have account and go and ask for balance. And that's what they did. They froze the account and asked the banks, give us her balances as of today. And statements. Okay, so this one is not a breach of her confidentiality or the bank customer confidentiality rule. having that protection over, or that we must obey that your confidentiality. Technology. Yes, sir. Employer putting embargo on employees' account. What will be the cost? There should be a reason for that.
Sometimes you are not told. You just come to the bank and
no, your salary doesn't have an embargo. Count. Yeah. If you let him learn, maybe our banker will help us. Ask the question plainly. Let's understand. Okay, please. Our brother is saying that he works in an organization. And his earlier question was, on what authority will an employer put an embargo on the employee's account? So continue so that bankers here will tell us what actually happened.
That's the only account you have. Maybe for your personal and your salary. So your salary comes through that one. You have a problem with your employer. The employer will not take care of you. By the time the month will end, you also come to from the banker
account. Okay. So Sadiq, can you help us with what the bank does? Yes. Controller. Account. Because it's not your employer who opened the account. You opened the account. But the only time the employer realizes that you are going to take undue advantage of him or her is when the money entered your account. For example, if it's a private organization, they will control it from their pay office. But if it's a government institution and they have done, what's the name? There's a word they use. Before they pay salary, they say what? Validation. And you are out of post. You are not opposed. But the money, government may pay it. So quickly they have to write to the bank that when this salary comes, place an embargo on the salary. So there's a word we use because a post-no debit. To hold that amount. Okay? But you see, the money is there. That is, you see, it is your salary that they have placed embargo on. But the bank, so that one is a bank specific issue. Okay, my brother want to come in. Cost rep, I'm coming. Account. You and a bank, you open it. Yes. No, they're supposed to. Yes. Cost rep. Hello. Yes.
Then we in the bankers, we blocked the account because we defaulted last month. And we fear that if the salary drops again,
he will take
it. The money to block the account. So now when you come, my salary has come, I've not been able. We will have to clear
the previous balance
before we release. But if you have excess, that is not only coming from only your salary, but you are able to prove that okay, I'm expecting a transfer. Then and we check, and the excess will take care of all of them. We can allow you to withdraw that amount.
Once the post-no debit is still on the account.
You understand? Yeah. So it can be removed and you do the transaction. But you will have to consider the amount in the account.
You came and
not be you are drawing the salary.
The salary, yes. You came and opened the bank account. It's not your employer who opened the account. When we go into the account, we see your passport picture and your valid ID card, not your employer. But the money that comes from your employer is what your employer is trying to protect. Maybe to see your good behavior. Either you are not punctual at work or you vacated post. But you know that when it comes to validation, your friend will validate for you. So that way, they want to make sure they prevent you from enjoying what you did not work for. So most of the time, it depends if the bank doesn't have a strong software that can hold that money. Your salary can be held in air, but your account will be there for you to operate. You come and see balance, but you can't withdraw. You see balance that the balance has dropped. Sometimes they see it. Yes. Yes, Atinia. Hello. Okay. Death. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 So you summarize for us. Okay. So your question is what is reading the law with regard to that. You see, sometimes the time for the organization to notify controller may delay, and the money will drop and you pick it and you go. So the fastest way they can stop that money is to go to your bank and give them a letter that when a salary or money drop in this account, return to chest. Okay, even before they notify controller, because controller might have already prepared their there's a term they use, PVs for payment, and by the time the message will get to them, it's already been approved and given go ahead for payment. And yes, when you have that letter to check, quick account at all. But yes. The letter they've written, you have a copy. They are supposed to copy you. The organization is supposed to copy you. Yes. Hello. Please. The employer, the employee. Yes. The employee doesn't do something. If you refuse to pick, you see. It is not the employee that will have. And the person officer, they are ever looking at that. Please, let's follow the line of question. It will help us get understanding. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Wrote your letter. And the place envelope, when the place envelope got and when he came, I was the one of him. I saw him seriously. So hold on, I'm coming. Currently, you see, when you are giving a summon to somebody and the person is evading the summon. There are occasions that I know that if this court bailiff see me, he will deliver a summon to me. I have to be in the court. So they will pretend I've not seen you. These days, the law has permitted us to use the electronic means. So we know that you are always online on your Facebook or on your WhatsApp list. The law now permits you to send it by that means. And the moment you see double tick be delivered, if you see a blue, some people have the way they configure their phone. They will read, but it will not show that they have read. Yes. So now the law has permitted us to go beyond the normal. This day nobody goes to post office to take a letter. So the law now permits delivery of those letters by electronic means. Okay, we know he doesn't come to work, and we have written letter to the bank to lay an embargo. And the only way we can do that is by sending a WhatsApp message for him to get his copy. The law permits you to do that. There should be a reason for which the person is either he's dead and we are not aware. But if he's alive, the law provides other means for us to deliver such letters. And one is by using the electronic means. So when we use the electronic means and we can get you, it's allowed. Yes. Our time is going through, please. As you are enjoying the conversation, know that we have some areas to go. Okay. Engineers. Hello. If you don't do what? Amelia, you say engineers. There should be a reason for them to block the account. Have you gone through the regulation? Have you met all the in equity? We said that what? He who comes to equity must come with a clean hand. Are you sure you've done the right thing? If you've done the right thing and your salary is being blocked, you have every right. That is why I was telling the labor law student yesterday that workers or employees always sleep on their rights. But the issue is that once you want to take your rights, every small thing you want to go to court, make sure you are doing the right thing. Because if you are the type who always want to apply the law, when you also fall foul of the law, they will apply it equally on you. But that is the issue. We know most of the GES people. The system know that. Look, GES, you can't sack people. The only thing they will transfer you. Abi, those who are in GES. A teacher will commit crime. Already we want more teachers. And you are sacking. Sacking is very rare in GES. If you misbehave, they only transfer you to another location. Thank you. As a form of punishment. As a form of punishment. Yes, sir. No, if you are allowed, but you tell us the source. Okay. Please, the bankers here, be alert. 20. Please call it in a new Ghana city for us to get 2 million Ghana city. Yes. Farmer, you don't go and dig money from the farm. What did you sell? Yes, if there are evidence to show, why do we prevent you? We want to know. You have a check in your hand, or you have people that you supply to. It can be verified. Hello, the reason, please, are we together? The reason for all this thing is to make sure there is no anti-money law. We are trying to implement the anti-money laundering law. You see, because with the money laundering, people knowing that the money was gotten from a bad source will not come to the bank. Because they know that when you bring such amount, the bank have a threshold that is allowed. He knows that every bank, particularly the branches in Tamale, you cannot keep more than 600,000 in your vote. That is your safe. Because insurance covers any amount. In case this building comes down and this is a bank, the safe is in this corner. The safe has a limit. If for any reason a customer comes after 2 p.m. because you send the money to Bank of Ghana, if it exceeds your vote limit, you send the excess one day. Now, if a customer comes after 3 o'clock when Bank of Ghana has closed, you are supposed to inform your compliance department because they will answer that question with Iyoko. That a customer has brought this money, he's a farmer. Okay, if they are not okay with that and they want to investigate, it is their job to send people to go investigate, not the bank officer. My question is to ask you the source. You say you are a farmer, you sold your maize or you sold your cattle. My job is to receive the money. Since you told me the source, I will write it. Okay, the banker is not supposed to now follow you to your farm to see how did you sell the animal or how did you get, or you just bag and then money or the no. My job is to know what is the source. You've told me. The people who will receive it, if they are not convinced, they should go because your address is in the system. They should go after you and do the rest of the job with you. I saw another hand. Hey. Uh-huh. This man enjoys Cecilia the package, pal. The money you want to share somewhere. We are all praying that one day we'll get it. Don't worry, you get it. Just work hard, you get it. Commerce clause. In many constitutions, there is a commerce clause that grants the government the authority to regulate interstate and international commerce. This can impact business engaged in cross-border trade. Cross-border trade and activities that have impact beyond single jurisdiction. It's very important. You cannot be doing an importation business outside Ghana. You are importing weapons to Ghana, and you say that the state should not regulate your business. They have to. Because are you importing the weapons to come and kill the citizens, or you are importing to sell to the security agencies? There are people mandated by law in Ghana who import guns, and they are supposed to sell the guns to what? Police, fire service, immigration, and army. That is their business. Oh, thank you. So those people you must have an off-taker. You cannot import gun and keep them in your house. There must be an off-taker. The person who is coming to buy it must be people who are under regulation. So if you are licensed to import guns, when the guns arrive, somebody from the state must come to inspect and be sure that you requested for NG55 gun or you requested for AK-47, they have arrived, they are certified. Then if it's for police, they pick it. Because we know that there are tribal conflicts in so many parts of the country. If we allow people to easily import gun, keep and hang it in a shop for sale, that is why our law is not like American law, where people can walk to gun shop, buy it, and keep in their pocket. For us, even if you buy, you must go and take a license. So when you engage in such a business across the border or that involves two countries or more than two countries, the state must have that we call commerce clause, where they can regulate your business or they can vet your contract that you sign in order to know that the state itself is safe. Because if your business involves national security issues, the state must be what? Concerned about your business. Search and seizure protection. The Constitution mandates us to enjoy free movement, have free enjoyment of our property, our business premise. But when there's a suspicion of us doing an illegal business, the state have the right to come and inspect. Okay, that is why sometimes when you are traveling abroad, somebody must check your bag at the airport and be sure that you are not carrying an illegal commodity or a contraband goods that you use in another country. Yes, we heard of people who are able to go through the airport. It's a syndicated thing. But me and you, let's try it. We don't have any big umbrella covering us. We can't pass through the airport where they won't get us. But if it's a scheme that, yes, there are people at higher authority who are involved, the airport gate will open without those people being caught. But when they enter the foreign country, that place, they don't have control. And there we see most of our arrests. People pass through Ghana. But when they get to Heathrow or in America, they are caught. It's because the scheme in Ghana is loose or people are enjoying from that loophole. Then outside, they cannot what? Operate. So government have the right to search if there is a perception issue, like the woman's case, my brother's auntie's case. Yes, there was a perception of corruption. So OSP was called. Then they have to go to the house and search, and they found more money than what is even no, not than what is stolen. What is stolen equivalent of $1 million. Abi, me, if I'm the woman, before God and man, I say me, I would have let the people go. If I know this is how much I have, but this one is small. Let's go on. But that's the change from here. Hello. Let's continue, please. Our time is short. Let's continue. I know we are enjoying the Sicilian part, but let's continue. Please, there's a question here. Please, let's listen. Yes. Hello. Hello. Brother, yes. Yes. The constitutional protection against unreasonable search and seizure impact businesses' private rights. Yes, like I said, we all have the right to our privacy. But when there's a perception about what we are doing that is infringing on the state's law, you know, prostitution is illegal. We see people at the various joints, they do it. That is why occasionally police will go and arrest all of them. They leave them, they go back there. It's illegal business. But when we know that you are the scheme manager, okay, you are importing ladies from other countries and you are putting them advantage point to do the business, we have the right to search you. And since you are doing an illegal business, the state can arrest you, prosecute you for that. Prostitution is illegal in Ghana. Other countries, it's a legal business. That's why people can advertise themselves. But Ghana, you cannot stand by the roadside, publicly advertise in the daytime. So we only do it in the night. The buyer and the seller are all doing crime. So those who patronize and those who are displayed are all doing crime. But when you are perceived to be doing an illegal business, most of the time, the cocaine and the heroin, those people do not bring it to the public. They only hide it and not money exchange, the illegal money exchanges. So when there's a perception or there's a complaint about your business, the state will not lift the cover, the protection that everybody have to enjoy free business environment. They will come and search your premises. They will search your business premises. So when those things are found, the state have the right to seize them. Yes. If you are you are doing illegal business. The thing is illegal. They arrested most of the ladies, but somebody will come and bail them. Somebody will come and bail them, and later they will come back to the street. Hello, our brother is worried why people who are doing illegal business, we arrest them. That thing is illegal. Occasionally, the state decide that today we want to arrest. They are arrested. Yes, senior, your hand was up. Hello, please, there's a question here. Yeah. They have gotten the backing of.
Yes.
The law provides for citizen vigilante, but it must be what? Registered and regulated. If not, any of us can also form one. And we have a reason. We suspect somebody like our brother's auntie. Then we can go Rambo style. We are doing citizen vigilante. They suspect that my brother is a banker. We are going to ransack his house. That is why it must be regulated. If you want to do citizen vigilante, there is a regulation, a procedure. You must register yourself, and the law will also what? Regulate you. Now you are not registered. Like we said, when we were learning the introduction to law, if the rules cannot be enforced by the court, it's not a law, it's a rule. Okay, the chiefs can set up those rules, but it needs to be regulated and should be able to enforce it at the court. It's good. The only thing the chiefs have power to do under our current constitution is issues related to chieftaincy, that if they are not able to resolve within their level, they should go to regional house of chiefs. From there, go to national house of chiefs. From there, go to Supreme Court. But other things which are mandated under the law, there are bodies that are in charge. So issue of citizen vigilantes, those guys need to go through the appropriate authority and be registered, recognized. If possible, give them some level of identification so that if you see one, you know it's one. You don't have to be working, then anybody who arrests you say, I'm a citizen vigilante. What shows you are one? If a policeman comes to a house without a warrant, you ask for his identification. Don't we? You ask, and they show you their ID. I'm a policeman, CID. But if anybody comes to you and I'm a citizen vigilante, where do you get your power from? Most of the community police, you see, they just form them for political exigency, give them uniform, but they don't have any law backing them. When they arrest you, they can't take you to court. They don't have that mandate. Okay. The same way when a police stop you, MTTU stop you, if there's nobody with the rank of sergeant and above, you can't give them your license. Ordinary corporal or the other one cannot take your driving license. The law says that somebody who is what, inspector and above, he has the right to take your license. So you see that the inspector is Ogboro, they are always sitting. Then the boys will do the job. When they take your license, they're going to give you to the right person. In case that one, you have problem, he has the power to keep your license, okay, and send you through the right quarters. The same way those community police or the, we call them Zoom police and co, they decided to move with a policeman. In case there is an official arrest, then they will leave that power to him. The only thing is to provide you their strength. But the power to arrest is in the hands of that one police who is among 10 of them. And if not, they don't have the power. The same way, citizen vigilance or community, the group he mentioned that they are in Abu Abu, they are only recognized by the Abu Abu chief. Maybe they go to Sanarigu, Sanarigu chief doesn't recognize them. So I'm giving you an assumption. Maybe they will go there, they don't recognize them. Okay, so if they want to arrest somebody in Sanarigu, their powers may be limited. If they are the police, the Ministry of Interior must give you that operating license. Then the drugs. Okay. The drug is for our own good, though. Those who want to take hard drugs, the effect is very dying. Yes, I hope it's not Cecilia Dapa. Okay. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, they need to be regulated. We have a district security, is it DSEC or the DISEC? DISEC must come out with a bylaw. Because if you read the sources of law, you read the sources of law, we have one that the people who have been mandated or who have been given authority under the constitution. Local government have the authority. That's why they can pass bylaws that affect the people within their jurisdiction. The same way when they realize that crime rate is becoming so much in their area, they can pass a law that we are mandating some group of people put in uniform. They have been licensed to effect A, B, C, D. They can only arrest. They can't arrest and start beating you up. Even the police, they don't arrest and beat you up. It is when you are resisting arrest, the law says under Article 19, they can apply reasonable force. That is reasonable force. If the reasonable force is to slap you to calm down, they tell you it's a reasonable force. If they have to clear you, for you to fall on the ground, for them to put a handcuff, it's a reasonable force under their description. Okay? But those groups, the citizen vigilantes, they must be empowered to do certain things, not to now behave like a para police team. That is where the fear is. You will give them so much power, they will not even recognize police anymore. They want to take the law into their own hand. That is why the state is a bit circumspect with this vigilante kind of thing. By law, they say there's no vigilante in the system. Me and you know that in reality we have them. Okay? But when their work helps the political party, that's when they close their eyes on it. But when it will affect people, they tell you they don't have one of them or any of those people. Environmental protection, labor rights, constitutional provision related to labor rights and workers' protection can impact businesses in terms of labor negotiation. Some private organizations like my brother's bank, they don't have union. I remember when I was working at Bank of Africa, that's the last place I left. They don't have a union. But when there is this rumor that some junior staff were going to be sacked, quickly they came together, and there's a certain number you need to have to get the license to have a union. That junior staff, they managed to form a union. So as we speak now, Bank of Africa have a union. They are not having it easy, but the organization is not having it easy. Because now you cannot just churn out a law and say that this is what our policy say. The labor union will also tell you that no, this policy is not good for our members. And so that right is there under the Constitution. Taxation and fiscal policy. Please, the rest of them, when we go, let's read on them. When we meet next week and there's issue with them, we can discuss it. You see, the class is so interactive that we don't even follow our time anymore. And that's how it's supposed to be. We need to understand what we are learning. It's something that applies to our day-to-day activity. So we can't just rush through the notes and say we'll close. Any question, please? Any question? Those online, any questions, so that we use the next 3 minutes and wrap up with the questions, then we close. Any question? I think the class has enjoyed a bit. Those online, is there any question from them? Okay, so cost rep. If there's any question, I think I can end. I don't. Thank you.